New super ships. Closed test 12.3. British super battleship Devastation and Soviet super cruiser Novosibirsk have been added to the game for testing. I thought we already had a super Conqueror. It's called Petro. And I thought we already had like I don't know. Is Petro the super Stalingrad or is it the other way around? I'm not sure, but we got a lot of Soviet tier 10 cruisers in this game right now. Like holy shit, wait, how many do we have? We got Stalingrad, Moskva, Nevsky, Petro, Smolensk, Sevastopol. What else do we have? At least 6. Do we have more? Which one did I miss? I'm not sure if I missed. Yes, St. Vincent, that's actually a super coin. I mentioned Nevsky. There are more in-game than are afloat now, right? But still, there's at least 6 tier 10 cruisers, Soviet tier 10 cruisers in the game right now, which is crazy. I mentioned Smolensk. I guess I covered them all with the 6. That's actually a crazy count when you compare it to other nations. Smolensk? No, I didn't miss Smolensk. That's kind of crazy though. And now we're gonna have a super version of it as well. British super battleship Devastation. Okay. Looks kind of like the Conqueror's flat hull with the flat broadside. Wonder if it will actually have a hittable citadel. A common theme with wargaming lately has been to make these super ships uncitadelable, because God forbid someone kills these things. It's got the turrets though, the shitty flat face turrets that usually you can break, but I mean if it's a super conq, it's gonna sit so far back you're not gonna be able to target the turrets. So 12 guns though. Clear. Wait, is that? Wait, that's quad turrets. Does it have 4 quad turrets? Then it's 16 guns. Jesus. Okay. I wonder if they're doing the wargaming thing where they add guns, but then in return they nerf the reload. That seems to be a thing. Like, look how heavy your broadside is. Oh, by the way, your reload sucks. The maximum battleship embodied all the ideas of the British shipbuilding school of the 1940s concerning battleships, not constrained by the limits of the Washington Naval Treaty. The overall layout of the ship is close to the battleship Vanguard. The power plant is similar to that used on Eagle-class aircraft carriers. Okay. Devastation continues the Conqueror tech tree branch. Yay! The ship is armed with 16 460 19mm guns in 4 turrets, with a good firing range but a long reload time. Due to the large number of guns, the ship has a high salvo weight. Her HE shells have high damage penetration and chance cause a fire. Her HE shells have high damage penetrations and a high chance to cause a fire. Yeah, okay, this what a weird sentence. Her HE shells have high damage, penetration, and chance cause a fire. Or, no, it would make sense if it was and chance to cause a fire. Once again, why don't they proofread this shit? I don't get it. Anyway. The AP shells have low armor penetration. Okay. Thank you, ended it. 10 months. Well, last weekend's trip to Amsterdam, it was great. It was great. Devastation is equipped with specialized repair team consumables, which allows you to restore a large amount of HP, and also has good concealment. At the same time, the ship does not have the highest HP compared to other super battleships, as well as mediocre armor. Okay, we'll see about that. I'll look at the naming reason first. The names can be divided into 3 main groups. Okay. The first one is honoring British admirals. The second is honoring the Royal House of Great Britain. And then the third is qualities actions. Valiant, Warspite, Revenge, Resolution, Renown, Repulse. Devastation? There were 4 ships with the 4 ships. Okay. Fair enough. Parameters. 100,000 health. What's Conqueror's health? 81? Isn't Conqueror's health 81? Let me check this. Eighty 81.9, I think, is Conqueror health. Oh no, 82.9. Shit, so 83k. So it still gets a almost 25%. I'd say at least 20% increase in health. Almost closer to over 20% increase in health. That is pretty insane. That's pretty insane. Almost still gets an almost 20% increase in health. You gotta remember, super heal heals percentage of max health. So gaining this much health means the super heal is that much more powerful as well. Plating 32 millimeters, torpedo protection 28. Same as Conqueror, same as Conqueror. I wonder if it's kind of the same hull as Conqueror. It would fit their lazy. Okay, what is this terrible port, by the way? Where's my... Do we have the best port back? Where's Fjords? Russian Fjords. Fyodorovsky. There's Fyodorovsky. I mean, look at the hull shape. It looks like almost... Look at this. The shape, the steps. It's very similar. It's very similar. It is very, very similar. I don't think I have the Vanguard. Yeah, I wonder if they've like just copy pasted Conqueror and Vanguard and like mix and matched to make that ship. I think that's what they've done to save production and save cost as much as possible. The hull looks really identical. Like everything here is incredibly identical. The double anchors here in the front, everything there looks stupidly similar, including like the text on the same spot on the bow. There's a lot of similarities. I'm thinking they copy pasted two different ships together. Our team has gotten a lot lazier, and you can see that with like them using that World War I model to simulate the Tier 9 ship. Like the whole thing was just like, what? Interesting. Anyway, 4x 419, firing range 24.5. That's a lot of range. HE shell damage 7.2. This is standard Conqueror, standard Conqueror, standard Conqueror. Jesus. Reload time 35 seconds. I wonder what kind of DPM this thing is gonna have. Standard conq isn't it 30? This is with module, so 26.4. I think standard conq is 30 with yeah, standard conq is 30 with 12 guns. And this thing is 16 guns with 35. It's gonna be more DPM for sure. I'm just wondering how much. Sigma 1.8. Isn't that Conqueror Sigma? Isn't that Conqueror Sigma? Let's see. Conqueror. Yeah, the same Sigma as Conqueror. 1.8. Interesting though. Conqueror already has the highest HE DPM by far at tier 10. And this thing is gonna have more HE DPM than that thing. It also has the highest fires per minute. No, actually Thunder has 0.1 second higher. Or 0.1 fires per minute higher. Which is... But they're basically the same. So... This thing is gonna be absolutely brutal, I reckon. Because the shell weight that's gonna hit you is gonna be like 20-25k HE damage. Plus ridiculous fire chance. And with the Royal Navy pen, it's just brutal to deal with. If you land all your shells, you're getting a fire, basically, no matter what. Interesting. 180-degree turn time, 30 seconds. That's much faster than Conqueror. Why do all these new ships have these super grease turrets? That's much faster than Conqueror. This one does 51.7 seconds. Why do they always do that these days? That's such a thing they're doing lately. Conqueror has the second worst turret traverse after like the Yamatos and the Shikishimas at 45-second turret traverse. But now, of course, because it's a super ship, for some reason the same fucking turret shooting the same fucking shells. No, actually a heavier turret, because it has 4 guns instead of 3, is somehow able to turn like 33% faster. How the hell does it... I swear, these super ships are literally designed for the worst players. People who can't manage their turrets, can't manage their citadel, can't manage anything. Like they're dumbing down the game in the form of these super ships. They're being made so stupid. How the hell does that, like, how does a heavier turret shooting the same shells suddenly traverse that much faster? Makes no sense. But I mean, we saw the last Devblog. Why are we even expecting this to make any sense? I mean, come on. Okay, come on. It gets plane-based ASW, 11 km range. Of course it does. It's a new ship. It gets plane-based. Secondary armament. It's a joke. No one builds that unless you're dented. Oh, it gets a lot of continuous AA. 823 mid-range. That's probably one of the highest continuous in the game. 823 is a monster value at close range, considering you can bolster that as well. And that action zone is 4 kilometers. 75% hit probability, so you'll lose some of it on the way for sure. But even so, the highest short range... Shit, what's the highest mid-range DPS right now? The highest mid-range DPS is St. Vincent with 522. The Conqueror has 470 mid-range DPS with a 3.5 km range. This thing has 823 and 500 meters longer. So, not only does it get range, which is incredibly important, it goes from 470 to 823 continuous. Jesus. Isn't it convenient how all the new ships have plane-based ASW and much higher AA values than the old ships? Isn't it fucking convenient? And then you get more and more plane carriers with regenerating planes, and like they keep stacking the problem and selling the solution, stacking the problem, selling the solution. Yikes. Does AA matter at this point, considering one salvo from the swing will practically nuke your entire AA battery? That's fair. Dude, this thing in a carrier game is gonna suck. One volley is gonna break every... If Kremlin gets shot once by this guy, Kremlin has 0 AA. Maximum speed 30.5. 30.5. That's not faster than the Conqueror. So a heavier ship, but still faster. The turning circle, however, is worse by 60 meters. And the rudder shift is worse by 0.9 seconds. How the fuck is the smoke firing detectability only 15.6? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but... Dude, how does battleship guns have a 15.6 smoke fire? Makes no sense. Thank you, Arvin, for the 15. Okay, what kind of surface detect 15.3? What are we dealing with here? 15.3 times 0.9 times 0.9. 12.4 conceal. 12.4 conceal on a super conq. Jesus Christ. I fucking hate that. I really don't like that. It's only... It's supposed to be this much bigger and larger, but it's only 0.1 km worse concealed than the Conqueror. Holy shit. 12.4. So this thing can sit 13 km away from you and you have no idea. Jesus. Yeah, that's gonna fucking suck. It's literally Petro Pavlov's conceal, and Petro can basically stealth radar. Like, what's Hinden conceal these days? Isn't Hinden like 12.1 or something? bro. Oh, Hinden is 12.6. So this thing has 0.2 km better concealed than Hindenburg. Oh my god. That's gonna be fun, by the way. This thing is gonna smash Hindenburg for 20-25k HE damage. Probably gonna break everything on your ship. Engine, rudder, turrets, everything. And considering the time it takes for you to try to disengage, it's gonna get 2 volleys in as well. That's gonna be a lot of fun, man. Jesus. Damage control, specialized, no spotter plane. But obviously an absurd heal. It's gonna be a really absurd heal, isn't it? It's gonna be 1,996 times 20 times healing flag. 48k heal. 48k heal, and you're gonna run 4. Oh, plus isn't it 10%? Wasn't the captain perk? Wait. Isn't the wait. Isn't the captain perk 10%? Shit, it's Russian. But isn't it 10% duration? Isn't it 10% duration on that? It's 10%, right? So it's gonna be another... Shit. Oh, fuck, we fucked it up. What was it? 1996 times 20 times 1.1 times healing flag. Okay, and you can run 4 of these. So that's your healing power in that thing. 210,000 healing. And you have 100,000 health. So your effective health is roughly 300k. Do you understand how many fucking damage records are gonna be broken again farming this thing? Like imagine you're playing something like a Marceau. And one of these ships pushes your flank. And you get to farm him. Oh yeah, don't forget Cunningham. True. It can be more than that. But imagine you're farming a flank and with an HE spammer and this thing pushes in. Like it's almost guaranteed 200k HE damage on this thing for free. People are gonna have absolutely absurd damage numbers just because your average potato is gonna give away so much free damage in this thing. Jesus. Good lord. Interesting. That's gonna be fun. Oh, next one. Soviet supercruiser Novosibirsk. Okay. Soviet supercruiser Novosibirsk. Yeah, let me see. So kind of looks like the Stalingrad hull, doesn't it? It looks a lot like the Stalingrad hull. Let me do... take away the camera. Is it like... has the curvature? Not actually the same type of curvature. It's almost Petro curvature. No, it's not Petro. It's almost like Kremlin curvature, honestly. Which is weird. Is it maybe Riga hull? Do we have Riga on this account? Nothing could do. Trying to find the curving hull thing. Oh! No, it just still doesn't have... Look at the curve here. Look, it's got a proper curve in like this. This reminds me almost of Kremlin armor. It reminds me almost of Kremlin armor. Like, that curve looks more like this. You see this? It looks like this. It looks like the same kind of angle in. That's what it reminds me of. Because this is not Petro or Stalingrad. It's like this kind of... because they're both flat like this. Or, well, Stalin is a bit more rounded. Petro is pretty flat and very low. But this kind of inward-shaped thing reminds me more of a Kremlin hull. Obviously, the reason why I'm interested in this is because this angled plating here is what makes the Kremlin so ridiculously tanky. Because when a shell comes in, it's not hitting a flat surface, but the shell is hitting an angled plate. So the shell comes in and it hits like this super angled plate. So the effective thickness gets multiplied many times and it becomes really ridiculous. So that's why I'm curious about this. Look kind of maybe like squeezed. These turrets look like... Is it Stalingrad turrets? Not really. Kinda. Kinda Stalingrad turrets, maybe. It's not Petro. Petro's got that flatness to them. Kronstadt, maybe? Could be a lot of copy pasta from Kronstadt. Interesting. I wonder what... Obviously, we're gonna expecting 50mm plating everywhere, basically, on this thing. In the mid-1930s, the USSR began preliminary designs of a large artillery ships. Yes, despite the fact that they couldn't even make the plating for a single piece of armor plating. In 1934 to 35, several big cruiser projects armed with 240 and 250mm guns were developed. Developed, by the way. In 1936, the February of Shipbuilding of the Naval Forces Directorate of the Red Army formed the first tactical and technical specifications for battleship and cruiser projects. Engineers were tackled the design of a heavy cruiser. No, engineers tackled the design of a heavy cruiser. This should be removed. Dude, why don't they just give this someone to proofread? I still don't understand. Why don't you just give this to your fucking intern to proofread? Like, please. Engineers tackled the design of a heavy cruiser, issuing 4 versions of a preliminary design with guns ranging from a caliber of 254 to 305mm. In the end, the cruiser project resulted in the B-type battleship of Project 25 and 64, and the idea of building a heavy cruiser was returned. The idea of building a heavy cruiser was returned in the late 1930s with Project... Was returned. And the idea of building a heavy cruiser returned. The was doesn't need to be here. Then the idea of building a heavy cruiser returned in the late 1930s with Project 69. Dude, just have someone proofread this shit. Jesus, it's not that difficult. In the case of a heavy cruiser built in the second half of the 1930s, its completion before World War II would have been unlikely, and would have more likely been completed by the 1960s as a convoy escort ship, support for landing operations, and as the flagship of the expeditionary squadron of the Mediterranean Fleet. In the... got tackled? No. No. Just tackled. You don't need anything here. The engineers tackled. That's all you need. You need nothing here. You can short and sweet. Always go short and sweet if you can. Just engineers tackled the design. That's all you need. In the tech tree, Novosibirsk follows Petropavlovsk. She is armed with 9 254mm main battery guns in 3 turrets. The guns are distinguished by a good range, flat shell ballistics, and high accuracy at short distances. And probably ridiculous penetration. However, as the firing distance increases, accuracy deteriorates. The ship's AP shells have a reduced ricochet chance and good armor pen. However, HE shells deal low damage. The ship has no torpedo armor. So basically a Petro cranked up to 11. I mean, if Petro has like... What's Petro's pen? Isn't it close to Bismarck? It's German 380. So this is going to be what? Montana pen or something? We'll see. It's probably going to be ridiculous. Novosibirsk has a large HP pool and a high level of protection against HE shells, but low maneuverability and high detectability. Wait, high detectability. Are they going more in the they're more combining Stalin than Petro? Interesting. The ship's equipment is represented by a surveillance radar with a high range but short operating time, repair party, and hydroacoustic search or defend. or defend. Dude, they have gotten so fucking lazy with these things. They don't even, like, what? They're gotten so lazy with this shit. This was fucking posted yesterday, this devlog. They've had all the time to fix this. They just can't be arsed. They don't give a shit anymore. They're just fucking copy-pasting shit out there. Dude, seriously, what the fuck? They literally just, like, forgot an entire another line, or I don't know how much more there should be here that they just fucking skipped. Fucking hell, man. Bro. Ship parameters. Okay, ship naming reason. Sebastopol Leningrad, yeah. Ship parameters 65.8k. Less than Stalin. A lot more than Petro's 55. Okay, so it gets 10k health on the Petro. 25mm plating, that's only going to be the tip of the nose. Petro has 25 as well. A lot of people often forget that Petro's tip of the nose is 25. Like, if basically all BBs can overmatch. Con, thank you for the 75 months. I completely missed that. That's a big ass goddamn sub. And thank you, Iron Shrek, for the 6 months. Appreciate it. Interesting. This ship only burns for 30 seconds. Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun to deal with, isn't it? Holy shit. It's almost as dumb as something that has insane armor and a really hard to hit citadel and a crawling smoke and sap secondaries and still would only burn for 30 seconds. That sounds really stupid. Imagine if such a ship existed in the game. That would also be really dumb. Oh wait, hello Napoli. You're a really fucking balanced ship. 25% torpedo protection on a cruiser? Okay, interesting. Petro has 19. I think that's Smolensk. Smolensk has none. Stalin has 25. So it's same as Stalingrad's torpedo protection. They really are trying to combine them. 254mm guns. 19 cam range. 32mm base pen and 16% fire. That's great shell velocity, AP 6.9. Reload time 14 seconds. You're gonna be able to run reload mode. That might be pretty scary railguns here. That might be pretty scary railguns. Sigma 205. Okay. But it's a cruiser. It's not a battle cruiser, which means it has cruiser dispersion. So it doesn't need Stalingrad's ridiculous Sigma. Yeah, 254 of course means that you cross the threshold. You can easily check it. You do 254 divided by 14.3. That's how much armor you overmatch, which means the 16mm overmatch, which is mostly found on light cruisers, you overmatch that. And that's because I mean light cruisers are really overpowered in World Warships, so it's glad we get another ship who can dumpster light cruisers. In fact, both of these, the Super Conq, Citadel's light cruisers with HE, and this thing overmatches them, so that's good, I guess. Ship plane-based ASW, of course, it's a new ship. Of course, it's gonna get that. Let's see. Secondaries, not worth talking about. AA, continuous damage 454, 4 km, 4 flak. That's actually not that much flak, is it? Surprisingly, let's see. AA. I'm actually curious. Anti-aircraft. Stalingrad, of course, loses hard. Stalingrad's mid-range is 183. And its long range, well, it's a bit more better long range. But only 5.8 came flak. On a Soviet ship? Soviets almost always have 6.6 or 6.9. They're giving 5.8. That's like American levels of AA, and we all know the Americans in World War II had really bad AA. But they're giving it like American levels of AA range. That's interesting. That's really interesting. That's uncommon. That's really uncommon. That's like literally DM levels of AA range. Okay, interesting. I am surprised by that. I'm surprised by that. Maximum speed 34.5. That's same speed as Moskva, slower than Stalingrad. Turner circle 1.09 kilometers. Sits smack dab between Moskva and Stalingrad. Where's Petro? There's Petro. Petro is 990. It's 100 meters worse. 13.2 second rudder shift. That's a pretty bad rudder shift. It's It's slightly worse than Stalingrad's radar. Surface detect 16.6. 16.6. 13.4. 13.4 kilometer concealment. It's certainly worse than what you're dealing with in certainly worse than what you're dealing with in Moskva and Stalingrad and shit. Wait, what the fuck is this, Captain? Where's my conceal? Yeah, 14.2, there we go, now it's updated. So it's certainly better than Stalingrad, that's 14.2. 13.4 is better than Stalin and better than Moskva. But Petro has 12.4. So it's they're really trying to put it right in the middle. Devastation outspots this guy by, how much was it? 2 kilometers? Almost? But yeah, 13.4 conceal. Oh, sorry, this thing gets outspotted by 1. This thing gets outspotted by 1 kilometer. 0x9, x0x9, 081. Yeah, but the way it's calculated is additive in World Warships, the way they calculate concealment. Thank you, Timotheus. Let's see. Detectability of defined main guns in smoke. 12.5 kilometers. Wait, what? What? Wait, that's the fucking wonkest number I've seen. That's almost smoke radar range. What? Why? The fuck? How the fuck does that work? How the fuck does that work? Stalin's smoke firing penalty is 14.9 kilometers. How the fuck does this make any sense? 12.5. That's such a weird fucking value. These massive railguns somehow... What? Venezia has 9.9 with 203s. Yeah, and like Napoli, which we talked about earlier, that's a really balanced ship. Napoli has 8 point something with 254mm guns. Like they're literally... This number is something they just pull out of their ass repeatedly. It makes no sense. 8.8, yeah, that's what Napoli is. Despite having 25% larger gun caliber. Damage control, hydro, surveillance radar, 15 second only. Really? Only 15 second radar. So Petro radar then. Standard repair. Of course you run superintendent. Now, important thing to note is, for some reason, we're once again missing a funny button. I don't understand their balancing at all, because these ships don't have a funny button. And it seems like Wargaming can't fucking make up their mind whether they want these ships to have a funny button or they don't. Because like we had the hilariously broken first iteration of super ships like Conde, Annapolis, Eagle, USS Sus, which all have their different funny gimmicks and they're all hilariously fucking broken. And then we have ships like Clausewitz, which are just like and don't have any funny button. Like the first iteration of super ships, you could play without a funny button and they would still be overpowered. But then you have ships like Clausewitz, which a funny button would make sense because the ship isn't that impressive at all. And then they suddenly went back to ships like Edgar that once again have a funny button, and now they're moving away from the funny button again. At this point, how is this supposed to be in any way less confusing for the player base when they have this theme that they keep opting in and out of whenever they feel like? Like it's like they have no idea what they're doing and they can't make up their mind at all. It's almost like multiple different balancing teams or dev teams are working on the game at the same time, And every now and then you get the really dented dev team, and they pump out like USS Sus, and they pump out Conde, and they pump out Annapolis. And then you had the other team who's like, well, let's just make it a slight upgrade from the current ships, and then you get like Clausewitz and potentially Dalarna, which is honestly a pretty strong ship, and like, but it feels more like maybe a tier 11. And then you go back to the dented team again, and like they keep switching back and forth. They can't make up their minds. Like Wargaming, it just seems like they are so lost right now, which is really sad. But they just feel like they're completely lost with what they're doing. And then you have like releases of new lines, and they're following the same pattern. The releases of new lines are following the same pattern. They make like no sense. On one hand, you have St. Vincent, hilariously overpowered battleship that basically became the standard pick in clan battles, and I think I'd already got banned from clan battles because it's so hilariously overpowered. And then on the other hand, you have Yodo, which is a ship that Wargaming will never have to ban from any form of gameplay ever, because if you bring that ship, people laugh at you because it's so terrible. And like you have, it's like I don't know what they're doing. Vincent was never allowed in the first place this season of clan battles. Yeah. Right. Stop giving them ideas, man. But like Yodo turrets get broken by secondaries. They do. They have no plating. They literally break by secondaries. But like it makes I have no idea what this developer. I think they're completely lost. I think they're completely lost, and they're just fishing with all this dumb shit. And obviously they notice that the player numbers are dropping, but they're unwilling to make the change that would alleviate this issue, which is deal with the submarine and CV issue. And instead they're just trying anything else. They're willing to try basically anything else except what they should be doing. And I don't think this anything else that they're doing is helping the issue. It just seems giga dented right now.